I never get a chance to sit. I always have to stay up. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
I want to say good morning and happy Father's Day for, there's not many fathers here today. But I'll say happy Father's Day anyways. And especially, you know, I heard something on the way up today which really struck me. Is somebody said happy Father's Day to the ones in spirit. My father's in spirit, of course, and I want to say happy Father's Day to him. And it's kind of funny, you know, we start thinking about the days when we were kids growing up. You know, we used to get Father's Day cards for our dads, didn't we? Now we get Father's Day texts from our sons. And it comes in like Morse code.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a ham radio operator, and I don't know whether the dits and the dahs mean SOS or some kids writing in. But we get those things coming in all the time, and it's kind of nice. Just a quick thing, I don't want to talk about John Rodgers too much, but my father was quite a character. I don't know where I got that idea from. And he was a drummer, and he played with some of the big bands at one time. So when I was a kid growing up, I remember hearing Dixieland music. The younger people don't recall that, and my grandfather told me about it, but it was very fascinating. We heard drumming all the time. He played with Fred Ware and Jimmy and Tommy Dawson and all these characters. But it was interesting because I wanted to learn how to sail. I wanted to be a sailor. So he bought me this 9-foot pram with Egyptian cloth sail on it. And he took me out once, and he taught me how to tack, just once. And then he goes off and he says, "You're on your own." I said, "Gee, thanks, Dad. That was awful nice of you." But I learned. And one of the things that we have to teach the kids today is to have more confidence and positiveness within themselves. Confidence and positiveness in themselves. And as adults, we have to do the same thing. You know, there are many times that we run across situations in our lives that we need to stop and think that it's time to need positiveness and understanding. We all have issues. There's not one in the congregation today that can actually state that they don't have some kind of an issue. We all do. But we don't take the time to enjoy life the way it should be. We really don't. We get on that train of going 1,000 miles per hour. The other day, I'm writing this 5th book. I'm trying to keep up with Marilyn, by the way. And my house is located right on a pond down there in Melbourne. And I have the desk set up with the computer looking out the window. But what was interesting is the other morning I get up early and I started to write something and I happened to notice these little ducks going by. And I kind of stopped for a while and I said, "Gee, that's kind of interesting. I really haven't noticed that for a long time." And I've only lived there for 20 years. And these little ducks are moving along, and all of a sudden I could see this wake out there, and I said, "My gosh, you guys better hurry up, there's an alligator after you." But it was kind of fascinating that we don't take the time to really enjoy life the way it should be. You know, God has given us so many wonderful things. God has really done that. So many wonderful things to look at, to admire, and to take the time for, to enjoy. Now, most of us are on a pretty busy schedule. When I was in business several years ago, I always remember somebody saying, if you want something done, you ask the most busiest person to do it. They know how to block the time off. And we have to get back to that ourselves. Block the time off for you. Very difficult. But we have to do it because there's such a wonderful thing out there in this world we're in. I know we have all kinds, you could buy a cheap ticket going to Hawaii, by the way, but I don't think you want to go over there now. But I think the way things are, we have to get back to enjoying what we have in front of us. Each other. Each other. You know, I go into a restaurant and I see a couple sitting across one of the Texans. I was just going to go over and say, "Would you like to meet her?" They're probably married for 20 years, but that's the way it is. So we got to get back to the basic concept of enjoying life a little bit differently. Now, I'm on a pretty busy schedule myself. I do a lot of lectures outside the church settings, I'm on this, I'm on that. And I'm telling you, it's kind of interesting, you know, people are very, and these are young people who are really having some issues today. Look at the shootings at different places, at these schools. They're only kids. They're only kids. What's going on with the world today? We have to get back to the basics of enjoying who we are, but actually teaching some of these kids some basic concepts. There was a program on TV years ago called Father Knows Best. Now we know how old you are. The thing is that Father does know best. You know, my son's a lawyer. Very smart kid. I don't know how he got into my family, but he's there. And I called him up at his company one time, and he identifies himself, and I said, that's funny, that's my name. And he says, what's the matter? And I said, I got a question to ask you. He said, what? How many fingers do you really have? He said, it's kind of a funny question. I said, I'm usually old man. He says, yeah, I have the normal fingers. I said, congratulations, you have won the dollar telephone. And you know, from that time on, I couldn't get rid of them. The point is that we don't get back to the basic concept of what life's all about. As fathers, we need to interact more with our children, even if they're distant. Now, some of you parents, I'm sure, have relatives that sons and daughters in the Army or service or whatever. I always say the Army because that's what I was in. And it's kind of difficult to communicate with them a little bit, but we still need to be interactive with them somehow. We really have to enjoy life. Now, I belong to a board where I live. I got shanghaied into this one, by the way. So this woman who's on the board with me pulls a car up in front and yells out, we got to talk. I said, okay. So the only time I can get a hold of one another is at nighttime. Now, you got to appreciate this. It gets dark down where we live. So, of course, I take a flashlight, we're walking down the street, and I say, as long as it's not business, whatever you want to vent, go ahead. So she says, you have a flashlight, and I go, boo. But the point is that even younger people are starting to vent more today because they just don't take the time to enjoy life. They're on a tight schedule, and they allow themselves to take on a lot more than they need to take on. They think they're God. They're not. Now, God has created each and every one of us in His or her image, whatever you want to define God, and wants us to be capable of handling different things in life the right way. And the only way we can do that is to learn about God. We're very lucky as spiritualists. You know, this is one religion of all the religions out there today that actually teaches natural law. Natural law. Now, a lot of us don't understand it. I've studied some of it. It's kind of complicated, but if you learn some of it, it will help guide you through life. And natural law is important to learn. And as spiritualists, we can not only learn natural law, but we have to share our knowledge with other people out there as well. We have to do that. But we have to take the time for us, too, to enjoy what's out there more. So this is not just for Father's Day, this is for everyone's day. You know, I went into Walgreens the other day to get a couple items, and I'm standing there waiting for the person to come over and take the money. Or I could have walked out the door, but the alarms were gone. And this young girl comes charging the door, and she says, sir, can I help you? Well, when they say sir to me, I didn't know whether to salute or what. I'm only 35. Come on, don't give me that stuff. And all of a sudden, she started to open up. She said, you know, there's a lot of problems, isn't it? She says, I am so lucky I'm alive today. I'm so lucky I'm alive. Now, this is from a young girl thinking this way. And I said, yeah. I said, you're very lucky to be alive. And she said, I can't believe the problems people have. And I said, well, you know, that's too bad. I mean, I understand that because I hear a lot of it myself. And we just kind of rapped for a couple seconds. And I owed her a nickel. And she said to me, don't worry, I got it covered. It wasn't the nickel, but it was the idea that this young girl is starting to look at life the way we all should look at it, differently. She had a good, positive attitude about things. And we need to do that more often. We need to take a good look at ourselves and say, you know, here's another thing that's interesting too. People complain about a lot of stuff, they really do. And I can understand that. Being a minister, I listen to it and try to do the best I can with it. I'm not a psychologist. By the way, a good friend of mine is a psychologist. And I'll say to him, how are things going? He says, oh, no problems at all. Get off of there, get off of there, you know. So, we have to listen to people and help them vent. That's the big thing. And some of these people who have all kinds of problems today are carrying it on themselves. They really are. Because of what they're going through. They just don't enjoy life. They really don't. We get to a point where I live, most people stay in the house. And I'll say to them, look, there's a wall outside here. You know, we don't have to stay inside all the time. Well, I don't know what else to do. It's an excuse. We have to get out and enjoy and see things that God has created for us. Father's Day is very important. We have to reflect on that because of our dad, what they did for us. You know, it's funny, you say to your kids today, boy, this is a different generation. It's funny, our father said the same thing. And it is different. But we have to cope with it like they did when, you know, when we were kids growing up. So, being a father, and I know there's perhaps some, I don't know whether all of you are fathers or not, but whether we're young or old fathers or whatever, you know, my kids, I have three of them. I have one's a lawyer, my daughter was a model, and my other son does work on computers. He's a website designer. And I don't care how old these children are, they're still kids to me. And these still have a lot to learn. They don't know it all. So we have to share that with our children, but we also have to let them know that we're enjoying life too. That we can get out and do different things. Even if you take a walk. Just to get out and do something and see what's outside. If I was to ask you afterwards if you've been outside lately, you'll probably say, no, I've just been to church today. Or I went to the grocery store. So you have to get out and do different things. Even if you don't like to be a joiner. I like being out in the public. I do it an awful lot, but I don't like certain things either. And I'm a ham radio operator, but I should go back to ham radio operation. But we need to do something to keep ourselves busy and moving in life and enjoying what God has given us. Again, we know there's a lot of problems in the world. There's no question about it. There always will be. That's the nature of the beast, if you want to call it that. But we need to enjoy what we have in front of us. Somebody said, oh, I can't do that. I got so many problems and issues. It's pathetic. I said, really? He said, yeah. And I said, I'll tell you what. I'm going to make a visitation to the hospital. Why don't you join me? And you have to take them to the hospital. I said, now, how's your problem? He said, it's very small, isn't it? Very small. When you see kids suffering today, when you see adults, when the hospital can't get out of there, we have nothing to complain about. So before you think your issues, and I'm not saying that you don't have health issues or issues that you deal with are pretty large, but trust me, there's always somebody out there that's larger than yours. And they're the ones that we really got to think about. I was at Dunkin' Donuts the other day, and this young girl came in with her husband, and she was pushing one of the little cars there. She had, I don't know what kind of problem she had, but I'm saying that she's such a young girl with problems that she has today. And it's too bad. And I have nothing to complain about. So every time I get down, and trust me, I get down as well as everybody else at times. Just once in a while, not all the time. I remember these things, and I'm saying, thank God. I am who I am, and I'm in good health. And I think that's what we have to come down to. So teach your kids, no matter how old they are, to be positive in life, to enjoy life to the fullest, and be thankful for what they have in life. And I thank you very much.